Welcome to Know Your Candidate podcast. This is an opportunity for candidates from across Tauranga City wards to tell their stories, their experiences, their reasonings in their own words. A format which gives them more than the public debates and profiles that you've seen already. An opportunity for the voter, the ratepayer, future resident to get to know who you want leading the city and, importantly, are they capable of doing so? Anne Pankhurst, a previous business owner, councillor and political junkie, will find out more why the candidates want to run, where they have come from, what they're going to do. So let's not wait anymore. Let's go.
Here we are again this morning with Aureliu Braguta from Romania, Moldavia in Romania, but you're standing as a mayoral candidate and in the Welcome Bay ward. So welcome to this series of Know Your Candidate. Our format today is to take the opportunity for a longer, more conversational approach so that you, the candidate, can speak and share your own aspirations for the city. We'll take about 20 to 30 minutes answering pre-prepared questions, of which you've got no idea what I've pre-prepared. The most important aspect of this election is that you vote and that you tell everyone that you know to vote, particularly in your demographic, which is younger. And that democracy works when we all engage, actively take part, learn about our candidates and understand what is important to us for the future of the city. Remember to follow our Know Your Candidate Facebook series and to follow us on the podhub.com. So Aurel, can you just give us a rundown on yourself, the who you are, children, no children, what you've done in the past, and give us that brief bio on yourself.
Yes, good morning and thank you for talking to me. I lived in, just to clarify, I am a Romanian from Moldova, which is a little bit different country. But anyway, I lived in Tauranga for over 21 years. I came here when I was 23. For the last over 17 years, I've been in business. I own my own business and I have 2 children. I'm a single dad, full-time dad, so the children live with me full-time. And basically that's it. Family life and run my own business.
So what's your business?
My business in exports.
Is it an exports?
Yeah,
Right.
I have a couple different businesses, but focusing on the exports right now, yes.
Right. And are you sending those to Romania or just around the world?
Romania as well, but many different countries, yes, around the world.
Right. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that brief intro. And so I'll ask some questions that are about you and then some questions about approach towards the city and governing the city. So have you had any previous governance roles? And if so, what would the size and scale of the budget be?
The governance, there's the question if I ever had the office job. Is this the...
No, a governance role, like were you...
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I had in my own business, of course. I'm the CEO and I'm the general manager, and the budget for my business obviously varies every year. I had years where I had to to play with over $5 to $7 million. So that's
right. So, but you've not been in any sort of social enterprises or PTAs,
no.
Right? Okay,
No.
That's fine. That's great. Just answering that question. So, in your thus far, have you had any experience of working with or in or around TCC at all?
No.
No. Okay.
That's what I want to bring to the table, a new approach outside the office, and that's what I'm running on.
Right. Cool.
Different views, yes.
So what would you consider the main role of a mayor and councillors of a city to be?
Well, the main role, of course, is the leadership, but also is the managing of people and also of the projects. What I'm meaning that is to bring a common sense to the table and have a discussion on every project that the council is doing. So when we're talking about investment in a specific project, let's say the roading, at the moment is the proposal is $1 billion for the next 10 years. I want to ensure that $1 billion is spent on roads, not 500 on the roading and 500 on red tape and consultancy and bureaucracy. So this is my goal, is to focus the council and focus the money in the right place. So I'm not saying don't invest, I'm saying invest, but exactly where it's needed.
So do you see that role as setting the direction of the council or instructing the council?
No, we have to, of course, work together. But what most people, and not most, everybody would be reasonable and understandable that this is the best ways. When we project an amount of money for a specific project, we all want that most of that money to actually go in that project. The problem is we got people in a council that they don't question. I don't know, an invoice comes for a specific part of the project and it's just paid, no questions. I want to bring a business-minded approach. So I want to ask questions. Why is that price? Can we find a better way of doing things? So I want to focus the money on the project itself.
So you think that you should be looking at the invoices in each line item in each of those projects, or do you think that you'd set the direction for that at the beginning?
Well, you have to set it, of course, from the beginning, but you have to set a precedent for the council to work within the budget and within a reasonable amount of time. The problem I see is way too much waste in every project, and it's simply because people, I believe they don't know how to manage the money. When a business comes and does the job for the council, they can charge wherever they want. And I'm afraid there are our councillors, they don't ask, because we all know that the council pays 3, 4, sometimes maybe more for the same job that can be done in private for a fraction of the cost. So I always question, why is that happening? I don't believe the councillors have a ill intention. I simply think they just don't have a business mind and they don't question the expenses. And we cannot move forward in growing our city if we're not going to bring our costs under control.
Right. Okay. So one of the things I'd further like to dig a little deeper and drill down on is your ability and experience in managing complex commercial and political environments. Because one is, clearly you've got a commercial enterprise and you think commercially.
Yes.
What do you think your political expertise is? So combining those two and how you've managed that.
Yes, I worked on, in my business, I work with people. I have a team of people that work with me. I work beside them, and we've been successful for all these years. So I have a good understanding, and I know how to work with people. Beside that, I have a lot of contacts that I deal with in my business, whether are for my exports, for internal jobs, and I have to deal with different companies, with different people, and I manage the results is in my history. So I managed to make agreements, to deal with people and work and get the job done. So
funding for the huge infrastructure spend is one of the biggest issues facing the city. What would you consider a solution, or do you have any solutions to get better funding so it doesn't all fall on the ratepayer?
Yes, I think the very first thing that I would look at is the spending. And as I said, well, there are two main areas where our council is wasting a lot of our money. One is in the council itself, which probably is the hardest one to tackle, but that's one area. The second area is all these private companies that are providing the services for our council. They overcharging the council every single time for every single project. And this way is the biggest cost, but also is the easiest. If you have someone with a business mind, and I know how the business works, and I know how to talk with business people to bring them, to an agreement, whether you do the job according to the agreement, even if it's the price or the timing, and they have to stick to it. And only someone that knows the business mind can deal with those people. And that is actually the biggest cost, but is the easiest to fix.
But you don't have any other funding solutions apart from managing costs.
No, that's the start. That's the start of it. Then from here, you got to look. I will not talk about rates increases until we sort the waste. If we sort the waste and then we come to a conclusion that we need some more help from the ratepayers, then yes, we're gonna look into it. But I believe that once we tackle the wasteful spending, there won't be any need for rates increase. Of course, generally speaking, you have to increase the rates with in the pace with inflation and so on. Yes, of course. But before we even go that far, we have to start from the bottom, and the bottom is the wasteful spending. It's way too much spending.
Okay, given that you govern at large, so you govern at large, but you represent a ward. When you make a decision for the collective or the greater good, and it's not what your ratepayers or some of your ratepayers would agree with, how do you manage that conflict of what your ratepayers at your ward may want, but you need to make a decision for the wider city? How would you manage that conflict?
Yes, that would have to, obviously there wouldn't be just my sole decision. Of course, there are 10 people in the council, so that would be an agreement, a decision made by all those people. But how would I manage? Of course, I would first ensure that we have the right information, and that information should come from the specialists in, well, depends what we're talking, if it's a specific project or whether it's a social subject, we have to consult the specialists. That information has to be presented to the community, and then the community has to give us a feedback and the decision on that. Yes, we can propose the community the plan and show them the evidence. Look how good it's going to be for all of us. But in the end of the day, if the community doesn't want it, well, then we have probably to change our direction. And
so if the community's split on one of those projects and it's 50-50 each way and you have to make a decision,
yes.
How would you manage say you say yes to the project and 50% of your community don't want it? How would you manage that part?
Well, as I said, there won't be just me.
No, but I'm suggesting your ratepayers in your ward that have voted for you.
Yes, I would, if it's a 50-50 split, I would probably lean towards the experts' opinion, because I cannot make a decision, especially when it's 50-50. I can go either way and I can be wrong. So I have to rely on experts' opinion on that. And actually, on every case, we have to rely on experts, but then we have to consult with the community. As I said, you can present a good, and most people would say, in some subject, they would say, yes, I agree with you, I can see the benefit in it, but I simply don't want it. So when it comes to that, yes, we have to do what the community wants. And I'll be one of those people as well. You can present me something that's beneficial for me, but if I don't want it, we may have to change the direction.
I'm just, next question, I'm looking for your reaction to the view that Tauranga is a critical part of New Zealand Inc. and its continued growth. So we have to think more nationally than locally, because what happens here matters. What is your view on that we are a part of New Zealand Inc.?
Well, we are a part, and we should set a precedent to the rest of the country that the local government can be managed properly. And when we do it well here, hopefully the other cities in the country would look at us and follow suit. But we have to start from our home first. I mean, it's great to have this vision of Tauranga being a lead for the whole country. Yes, but let's start from the bottom, fix our problems first, and then we will build on our vision.
Okay. So how do you feel how would you manage the multiple competing interests, say reasonable rates, new funding models, infrastructure deficit? How will you choose between investing in growth or rate relief? Which do you think is more important, and how would you manage that?
Yeah, here's my problem with this question, because I've been asked before, and the assumption is that the rates increase, it's necessary to be able to invest in our future projects. My argument is, if we cut the costs, the wasteful spending, it may not be necessary to increase the rates. So to use this, that it's a popular thing to say that I want to increase the rates. No, first we have to cut the waste to make sure that, yes, we run out of all the options, then we can look at the rates increase. But when we have the options on the table, when people see how much waste is happening at in our council, how can people be happy about rates increase? Okay, no one, but all people are reasonable, and people would understand, yes, the council is trying, we don't see any waste anywhere, it's reasonable, and people would accept rates increase. But until that stage, I will not support it.
You won't support any rate increases at all?
Not until I see that we have a cap on a waste. As I say, people are reasonable. People are reasonable. If people can see that the council is doing their best to mitigate the wasteful spending, people won't complain about the rates increase. But when you don't even need to get out of your car to see how much waste is around the city, whether we look on the roads, whether we have hundreds and hundreds of unnecessary road cones that the council is paying for, whether we see people standing on the side of the roads doing nothing, or when we see, two trucks protecting one mower, all those little things that we see without even getting out of our car, then people, of course, we're not happy with rates increase. But if we see everything tidied up and everything is reasonable, people will not complain about the rates increase.
Right. Okay.
And at that stage, I would support it. Yes.
So next question, can you give me an example of your previous leadership role where you didn't quite achieve what you'd hoped for in a project or something, and how you dealt with the failure, and what were your lessons?
Yeah. Obviously in business, we have plans and we work towards those plans, and occasionally you can see that it's not going the way you want it. In my personal experience, the best way is cut the costs. Forget about what we spent so far. If you can see that we're going deeper and deeper in debt, then you got to stop what you're doing now. And what I'm trying to say is, I'm more referring, I'm talking to you, but at the same time, I'm thinking about the actual question that came from people, and that's referring to the long-term plan. And some candidates say that we spend too much on or the commissioners spent too much money on putting together this plan, so now we can't just throw it away. Well, doesn't matter how much they spent on it. If it's not a good plan, of course we have to get rid of it. I'm not saying everything is bad, but just to answer your question, even if you had a high cost on a project, it's never too late to stop the further going down at any point. So you got to stop when you realize that we're going in the wrong direction.
So have you got any personal view on projects that you might revisit from that long-term plan?
Yes, I would revisit probably when we're talking about the museum, when we're talking about the stadium, all these projects. I want to and revisit what I mean is not. I'm not against having a museum. I'm not against having a stadium and any other project that are proposed. I want to make sure that we can pay for those projects, and I want to make sure that the money that is allocated for that project actually go into the project and not half of it wasted on bureaucracy. We know what happened in Auckland with the harbor bike lane. I'm not sure, did they spend 20 million on, well, it wasn't on news. I'm sure you know what I'm talking. They spent I believe 20 million on consultancy, and the project never got off the ground. So what I'm talking is I don't want to see 20 million wasted in the office on paperwork. I want the whole amount, or at least 99% of the budget that is allocated for a specific project, I want it to go into the project. That's the...
Look, I don't disagree. None of us would want 20 million to go into a project here.
But it happens continuously. That's the problem. Nobody wants, but no one gets in there to stop it. And that's what I'm running on, to actually stop those. It's not good enough for us to agree that, yes, they spend, and yes, it's not nice, and do nothing about it. This is what my focus is, to get in there and question, why are you spending millions on whatever red tape and decision making, and we have nothing to show for it.
Right.
And this is gone on for way too long.
So one of the questions that I'd like to ask of you, particularly as a mayoral candidate, have you got any experience of managing a diverse team to deliver outcomes, given that you've got 10 people at the table and they all are voted in by their constituents? You're not their boss, you're their colleague. Have you got any experience of dealing with that quite diverse situation?
As I say, I never had the office job. I always was in a business, in private business. And during my 17 years of managing my own business, we had years when it's, I've been employing many people over these years, and there are times when, you can pick and choose who is working for you, but there are times when you take whoever you can. And I made it work, whether I had a team with people that did the job the way I asked, or I had to work with people that, not so keen on doing what I asked of them. But I had to do it because I had no choice. And I managed, for all these years, I managed to move forward and grow the business. So I think it is possible to work with people of different backgrounds.
In different views.
Different views, this is what I mean, views.
Yes.
And
So reaching a consensus is really important, particularly at the council table.
Yes.
So what would you consider to be 3 of the biggest issues facing the city at the moment?
Obviously, I can mention, the housing, the roading, the public transport, and all those things. But the very important, in my view, is the wasteful spending. Because if we can get the wasteful spending under control, then we can do anything. We won't have problems, in fixing our roads or adding an extra bus if it's needed for the public transport, or fixing our facilities. So all those projects we can get done if we bring our spending under control. So yes, there are more than 3, but the main one is spending for me.
Right. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time this morning. I hope you've enjoyed this, and best of luck in your next few weeks. And remember to tell everyone to vote and to follow it. Put this out through your own social media or own campaign database, and to
Yes.
follow us on thepodhub.com. So
Yes.
thank you very much again for being with us.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good day.
much. Good day and good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tune in to the next episode of Know Your Candidate to be informed on who you want to run your city. Got feedback and like to comment your thoughts on the episode? Connect with Know Your Candidate on social. This has been the podhub.com experience. Check out thepodhub.com for other podcasts and how you can even do your own.